Every month in America, ordinary people lose an apartment or a house and end up sleeping in the family car with almost nothing in the bank. And within a few weeks, a surprising number of them figure out how to eat, shower, do laundry, charge their phones, and sleep safely while spending less in a month than a weekend camper spends in 2 days. Meanwhile, van life influencers with $60,000 rigs and sponsorship deals burn through more cash in a weekend than these folks spend all month. Today, I'm walking you through 10 of the hacks these folks use to live on the road for free, exactly how each one works, and then 5 expensive mistakes that quietly drain thousands of dollars from people in vehicles. Because mistake number 3 has cost people their entire home overnight. Now, before we start, understand who we're learning from here. When someone has been living in a Chevy sedan behind a Kansas truck stop for 2 years on a food stamp budget, they know more about stretching a dollar than any finance influencer with a camera crew. These methods come from people who had no choice but to make them work. Some cost literally nothing. A few cost pocket change. All of them are keeping real people housed, fed, and mobile right now. So let's start with the one that replaces the biggest bill in your life. Hack number 1, park for free like the professionals do. Rent is the expense that breaks people, and vehicle dwellers have eliminated it entirely by learning where you can legally sleep for nothing. Plenty of Walmart stores still allow overnight parking if you ask the manager and park at the edge of the lot. Cracker Barrel restaurants are famously friendly to RVs and vans. Casino parking lots often welcome overnighters because they hope you'll wander inside and spend a few dollars. Some hospital and airport parking garages allow overnight stays for a small fee, and the lower levels hold warmth all night. But the crown jewel is public land. On Bureau of Land Management land and in most national forests, you can camp dispersed for free for up to 14 days at a stretch, then move a short distance and start the clock again. People live this way across Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico all winter long. An entire community of retirees and displaced workers parked under the desert sky paying $0 a night. One warning though, rules vary by store, by city, and by ranger district, so the veterans always ask first or check the posted signs. A polite question costs nothing. A tow costs everything, and we'll get to that in the mistakes. Hack number 2, the shower circuit. Staying clean is what separates getting through a rough patch from spiraling, and the people who live this life run it like a delivery route. The backbone is the American truck stop. Pilot and Flying J sell private hot showers with clean towels included. And here's the part almost nobody outside trucking knows. Truckers earn free shower credits every time they fuel up, far more credits than they can ever use, and many will hand one to a polite stranger at the fuel desk. Drivers trade them in the parking lot like coupons. When there's no truck stop nearby, city recreation centers sell day passes for $2 or $3, and the locker room shower comes included whether you swim or not. And when a person is ready to spend $10 a month, a budget gym key tag becomes something bigger than a shower. It buys hot water every single day, a clean bathroom, wall outlets, Wi-Fi, and a warm building that stays open around the clock at most locations. One small plastic tag quietly replaces the water bill and most of the heating bill. Hygiene is not vanity out here. It's what keeps you employable, welcome in businesses, and invisible to the people you'd rather not attract attention from. But a clean body doesn't help much on an empty stomach, which brings us to the network most Americans don't know exists. Hack number 3. The Free Food Network. There is more free food in an average American town than almost anyone realizes. Food banks and church pantries hand out groceries, and the overwhelming majority don't require a fixed address. Many don't require ID at all, just your word. Church and community meals run somewhere in most towns nearly every night of the week. Hot food, warm room, no questions. The trick veterans use to find all of it is dialing 211, the free national helpline that connects you to every food program, shelter, and assistance service in your county. One phone call maps your whole area. Then there's the grocery store itself. Bakery and meat departments mark items down 50 to 70% in the evening before they expire, and the day-old bakery rack is the cheapest calories in the building. Some folks use apps that sell restaurant surplus for a few dollars a bag at closing time. A person who knows this network can eat reasonably well on a few dollars a day, sometimes on nothing at all. And notice the pattern here. None of this is charity you have to beg for. It's infrastructure that already exists. You just have to know the map. Hack number 4. Water is free everywhere if you know where to look. Bottled water is one of the worst deals in America, and people living in vehicles never buy it. They keep a few sturdy 1-gallon jugs and refill them on rotation. City parks have drinking fountains and spigots. Cemeteries almost always have water taps for flowers. Gas stations will let you fill a jug if you ask, especially if you buy a coffee. Most grocery stores have a filtered water refill machine out front that charges around 25 cents a gallon for clean, filtered water, which works out to a few dollars a month for all your drinking water. Add a collapsible 5-gallon container from the camping aisle, and you've got wash water for dishes and a sponge bath between shower days. It's the least glamorous hack on this list, and the people who live this life will tell you it matters more than almost anything, because a person with water, food, and a safe place to park is stable, and stability is what makes the one almost nobody thinks of until they need it. Hack number 5. Get mail with no address at all. This is the hack that keeps people connected to the system. Without a mailing address, you can't easily receive a bank card, a social security check, a tax refund, or a job offer letter. And the United States Postal Service solved this problem over a century ago with something called general delivery. You have mail sent to your name, care of general delivery, at the main post office in whatever town you're in, and you pick it up at the counter with ID. It's free, it's legal, and post offices will typically hold mail for up to 30 days. People living on the road also use a trusted relative's address for permanent paperwork, or a private mailbox service for around $15 a month that gives them a real street address for licenses and packages. That one detail, a working address, is the thread that keeps a person tied to benefits, banking, and employment. Lose it, and rebuilding gets 10 times harder. Keep it, and you're still a full participant in the economy, just one without a rent payment. Hack number 6. Free phone service and free internet. A phone out here is not a luxury. It's your map, your job application, your bank, and your lifeline in an emergency. The federal Lifeline program has existed since the Reagan administration, and it provides free or deeply discounted phone service to low-income Americans through dozens of carriers. People who qualify for food assistance or Medicaid typically qualify for Lifeline, and the application takes an afternoon. For internet, the public library remains the greatest deal in American life. Free Wi-Fi, free computers, printing for a few cents a page, heat in the winter, air conditioning in the summer, and librarians who will genuinely help you find services. And a quiet secret of the road: that library Wi-Fi usually reaches the parking lot after closing, and so does the signal outside most coffee shops and fast food restaurants. Vehicle dwellers plan their evenings around these invisible hotspots, downloading maps and messages from the driver's seat without spending a dime. Communication for free. Now let's talk about power, because a dead phone makes all of it worthless. Hack number 7. The charging circuit and the $50 sun. A dead phone out here isn't an inconvenience. It's your map, your bank, and your job applications all going dark at once. So people on the road build a daily loop of free outlets and top off everything in one sitting. The library is the anchor, with an outlet at nearly every table and staff who leave you alone for hours. Laundromats pull double duty, because the wash you were going to run anyway comes with a wall socket next to every folding table. Hospital waiting rooms, mall food courts, and the big coffee chains fill in the gaps. And the veterans don't charge a phone, they charge a fleet. 2 or 3 large power banks, around $20 each, drink from those outlets at the same time. So a single afternoon of errands stores enough electricity to run a phone and a headlamp until the next trip into town. Then comes the upgrade. A foldable 100-watt solar panel now costs $50 to $80, sometimes less used, and it works lying flat on the dashboard behind the windshield. Even under gray winter clouds, it trickles real power into those same banks all day while the owner is off at work or the library. Pair it with a small power station over time, and you can run a 12-volt electric blanket at night, which draws about 50 watts and heats the bed instead of the air. The sun delivers a free power bill every single morning. Out here, people have simply learned to cash it. If this is the kind of knowledge you'd rather have and never need, hit subscribe. I cover practical survival and preparedness like this every week. Now, the next hack is the one that turns surviving into rebuilding. Hack number 8. Earning cash with no address and no schedule. Living free is only half the equation. The other half is bringing money in, and people on the road have quiet, reliable methods. Day labor offices pay cash at the end of a shift. No address required. No questions asked. Gig apps for deliveries need only a working phone and a running vehicle, which a van dweller already has. Plasma donation centers pay new donors especially well, often several $100s in the first month, and regular donors can earn a few hundred a month after that for a few hours a week in a climate-controlled building, though centers set their own age limits, so it pays to call ahead. Scrap aluminum cans bring real money in states with deposit laws, 10 cents a can in some places, and free money everywhere from recyclers. And plenty of older folks on the road work seasonal camp host jobs, where a campground gives you a free site and a paycheck for keeping an eye on things. None of this makes anyone rich, but $300 a month with zero rent, zero utilities, and a few dollars a day in food is genuine breathing room. It's the difference between falling further and climbing out. And climbing out requires one thing above everything else: sleeping well enough to function. That's hack number 9. Hack number 9, the zero-cost sleep system. Ask anyone who's wintered in a vehicle, and they'll tell you the same thing. The bed is the one appliance that never breaks down and never sends a bill. Building it right starts underneath you, because the cold floor of a car pulls heat out of your body faster than cold air ever will. A foam pad from the camping aisle, a folded moving blanket, even a layer of flattened cardboard between the mattress and the floor changes the whole night. On top, the rule is layers, and wool beats everything, because thrift stores sell wool blankets for a few dollars, and wool keeps insulating even when it's damp, which cotton never does. The final piece is a windproof shell to trap the warm air your own body produces all night, and this is where a thermal bivvy earns its place in the kit. The one I carry is the Terra Shell. It's an emergency sleeping bag with an aluminized lining that bounces your own body heat straight back at you, so the bed warms itself with the furnace you were born with. It weighs a few ounces and folds down smaller than a paperback, which means it lives in the door pocket, not buried in the trunk. A friend of mine found out why that matters when his alternator died at a rest stop outside Amarillo on a 29-degree night with the tow truck unable to come until morning. He climbed into that little silver bag under 2 blankets and slept straight through until the driver knocked on the glass. I put a link to the Terra Shell in the description. For someone sleeping in a vehicle full-time, it turns a stack of thrift store blankets into a genuine cold weather sleep system for less than the price of a pizza. Hack number 10, the one-tank rule. The final hack is the one that took the road community years to learn. Gas is the silent budget killer. A vehicle dweller who drives around town all day burns $150 a month or more in fuel just wandering. The people who make this life sustainable flip it. They pick a base camp, a spot near their gym, their library, their water, and their work, and then the vehicle mostly sits. They walk. They use a $10 thrift store bicycle. They plan one driving day a week and chain every errand into a single loop. Some go a full month on one tank of gas. The vehicle stops being a car you live in and becomes a home that occasionally moves. And the $200 a month that used to vanish into the tank becomes food, savings, and repairs. Rent gone, showers handled, food mapped, water free, mail flowing, phone free, power from the sun, income coming in, warm bed, one tank a month. That's the whole system, and it costs less than most cable bills. But knowing what to do is only half of this. The other half is knowing what not to do, because the road punishes financial mistakes brutally, and every one of these 5 has wiped people out. Mistake number 1, the convenience tax. Track a struggling vehicle dweller's spending for a month, and the same leak shows up every single time. It isn't rent, and it isn't gas. It's the register at the gas station. When you live in a vehicle, the easy meal is always right there. Fast food, gas station sandwiches, energy drinks, hot coffee at $4 a cup. It feels cheap in the moment, but $15 a day of convenience food is $450 a month. More than this entire lifestyle needs to cost. Add out-of-network ATM fees at $3 or $4 a withdrawal and check cashing stores that skim a percentage off every paycheck, and a person can leak $100 a month without buying a single thing. The veterans cook on a $20 camp stove, buy groceries on the markdown schedule, and use a free checking account with fee-free ATMs. Boring and worth thousands a year. Mistake number 2, the storage unit trap. When people lose housing, the instinct is to save their belongings, so they rent a storage unit at $100 to $200 a month. A year later, they've paid $2,000 to store furniture worth $800, money that could have been first and last month's rent on a new apartment. And when a payment gets missed, the facility auctions everything anyway. People who've been through it say the same hard thing: keep documents, photos, tools you earn with, and things you truly love. Store them with family if you possibly can, and sell the rest while it still has value. Furniture is replaceable. $2,000 when you're rebuilding is not. Mistake number 3, the title loan. This is the one that takes homes. When money gets desperate, title loan shops offer fast cash against your vehicle's title. And for someone living in that vehicle, this means borrowing against the roof over your head. The interest rates commonly run around 25% per month, which is roughly 300% a year, and consumer research has found that a large share of title loan borrowers end up losing their vehicle to repossession. Think about what that means here. Missed payments on a $500 loan, and a tow truck takes your home, your transportation, and your ability to work all in one night. There is no emergency this fixes that it doesn't replace with a worse one. If you're desperate, dial 211. Talk to a church assistance fund, sell something, donate plasma. Never ever sign over the title to the vehicle you sleep in. Mistake number 4, skipping the cheap maintenance. A person in an apartment with a dead car has a problem. A person living in that car has a catastrophe, and breakdowns on the road are almost never random. They're deferred maintenance coming due. A $40 oil change skipped becomes an engine. A $100 set of brake pads ignored becomes rotors and calipers at $600. A worn $80 tire becomes a blowout, a tow, and a missed work week. Experienced vehicle dwellers treat maintenance as rent, the one bill they still pay, and they keep a small cash envelope that only exists for the vehicle. Many community colleges with auto programs and some charity garages do repairs for the cost of parts. The van is the house. Fix the house. Mistake number 5, careless parking. This is the fastest money drain in the whole lifestyle. Park in the wrong spot and a single ticket runs $50 to $100. Ignore a few tickets and one morning the vehicle is gone. Impound lots commonly charge $200 or $300 for the tow plus $50 or more per day in storage. And the fees stack so fast that many people simply can't afford to get their own home back. Cities auction thousands of impounded vehicles every year, and some of those were somebody's whole life. The rule the veterans live by is simple. Legal spots only. Move regularly. Keep the registration current. Keep the inside tidy so the vehicle doesn't scream lived in. And if a police officer or a security guard knocks, be polite, apologize, and move along. Stealth and courtesy are free. The impound lot is not. So there it is. 10 ways to live on the road for almost nothing. Learned from people who had to figure it out the hard way, and 5 money traps that turn a rough patch into a disaster. Park free and legal. Keep clean. Learn the food map. Collect your water and your power. Protect your mail and your title, and let the bed do the heating. Whether you're living this life right now, helping someone who is, or just filing this away in case the day ever comes, this knowledge costs nothing and it protects everything. And if the only thing you do after this video is put a Terra shell and $20 of emergency cash in your glove box, the link is in the description, and you're already better prepared than almost everyone on the highway. If you found this useful, hit subscribe, because next week I'm covering how people living in vehicles eat well on $5 a day, and the 3 grocery store mistakes that quietly double your food bill. I'll see you there.